It is safe to say that most people enjoy a little maple syrup on their pancakes and maybe ice cream too. Maple sugaring has been a New England tradition for hundreds of years, but researchers say climate change is affecting the industry. I sat down with Winton Pitkoff, the coordinator for the Massachusetts Maple Producers Association, to learn more.
Climate change is having an impact on all agriculture, obviously, because all farmers are dependent upon the weather. And as the length of the growing season changes, and as when the seasons change is constantly changing, as that happens, the seasons become less predictable. The weather becomes less predictable, the temperature, the amount of rainfall, and it becomes harder and harder for all farmers to plan for their crops. For maple syrup in particular, the changing of the seasons is what's critical for when the sap runs and when maple syrup can be made. And for generations, sugar makers were able to count on that happening in March. Everyone knew that that's when the sugaring season was. With the changing of the climate, it's become less predictable. In some ways, it's actually stretched out longer as we have warmer spells in January, and the sap actually starts running earlier, and then it may freeze up again, and then it may run longer into April, or it may even end earlier in March. And so that unpredictability has made it really challenging for sugar makers.
And typically you need cold nights and warmer days. Is that what you need for the...
Yeah, ideal temperatures for sugar making for when the sap is going to run is for the nights to be around 25 degrees or colder and the days to be 40 degrees or higher.
And so what are you hearing from people in the industry, and tell us a little bit about the industry in Massachusetts, how many people you represent?
Sure. The Maple Sugar Makers Association represents about 260 producers around the state, from hobbyists who just have a few trees to the commercial producers that have over 10,000 taps. And we estimate that there's another 100 or so sugar makers out there that aren't necessarily part of the association. The association's been around for about 75 years, but sugar making in Massachusetts has been going on for more than 200 years. It's one of the things that colonists talked about in some of the early records of being in Massachusetts. And so the industry has grown dramatically in the last couple of decades as technology has changed, as there's been more of an interest in sugar making, and as more folks are aware of the value of buying local agricultural products directly from farmers to help keep those farms in business. And so the state is producing more syrup and selling more of the syrup locally to Massachusetts residents.
And certainly important to the economy as well. So this obviously would affect all of that. The study that UMass did talked about this really being a problem as we head out, I can't even imagine this, to the year 2100, but really pushing this production further north, which, as you said, historically this is part of New England, which would be obviously devastating for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, sugar maple trees need a very particular climate in order to thrive. And as the temperatures change, as the warmer months get longer, the colder months get shorter, that's changing. Also, the impact of climate change means that invasive species that weren't able to thrive before in our area now are. And so as we see certain kinds of bugs invading the forests, they're feeding on maple trees and actually killing maple trees. That's an impact of climate change as well. And if we lose the trees, we lose the syrup.
I know that you talked a little bit about mitigation, things to do, in response to this. Can you explain that for us?
Well, for all farms, there's two primary issues around climate change. One is mitigation, was what can farms do to actually reduce the impact of climate change for all of us, and they have a very big role in that. And the other is adaptation, how do farms adapt to climate change and change their management practices so that they can still grow the crops that they do even in the face of climate change. So as far as mitigation goes, maple farmers have a big role in that. By keeping forests healthy, they're creating, they're trees absorb a lot of carbon from the atmosphere, and that helps to mitigate the effects of climate change. And maple farmers have an interest in keeping those trees healthy because it's how they produce their crop. Adaptation is a little bit harder for maple producers than it is for a lot of other crop growers because it can't be done in a controlled climate environment in a greenhouse. You don't irrigate your trees. It's very different from annual crops. And so as a result, maple farmers are a little bit more are going to suffer a little bit more in the face of climate change.
And what are you hearing from families who have had this in their families for generations, that this is, just part of who they are?
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to predict. I mean, the producers who do this for a living and where it's a big part of their farming operation are better able to adapt because they may have staff or crews that are able to help them, and they can watch the weather and they can get out there. They can tap in January and get ahead of what may be a warmer season. But folks that do it on a smaller scale and maybe plan always on taking a couple weeks off from their jobs in order to be able to maintain their sugaring operation, it's harder and harder for them because they don't know if the season is going to be in February as it was a few years ago, or in March, or even in April. And so it's more and more challenging because there's a really narrow window when you can collect sap and produce maple syrup, and it's not consistent when that's going to be anymore.
And in your role, with a Maple Producers Association, are you trying to get the word out? Are you trying to support farmers the best you can?
Of course. I mean, the best way to do that is to make the farms as financially sustainable as they can be, and you do that by encouraging more people to buy local maple syrup and to understand that it's great on pancakes, and we encourage people to do that, but it's not just for pancakes. People use it to sweeten their coffee. People use it in marinades and dressings and in cooking and baking. And so the more people do that and support the farms, the better able the farms are to adapt. With the season being shorter, I mentioned technologies that sugar makers over the years is another form of how they've helped with climate change mitigation, have adopted all kinds of technologies that mean they use less fuel and just generally have less of an impact on natural resources. And so by being able to adopt those technologies, they can also produce syrup faster so that when there are those surprise runs of sap in January or in April or whenever it may be, the sugar makers are better prepared to turn that sap into syrup. And so we encourage and help sugar makers adopt new technology like reverse osmosis or high efficiency evaporators.
Can you explain the process of making maple syrup?
Sure. I mean, it's a very simple process in a lot of ways that hasn't changed from when Native Americans first discovered that you could take this sap that comes out of trees from a wound in the tree and boil it down and make something sweet. And that's essentially all it is it's a single ingredient product. It's the sap from sugar maples and red maple trees. It's collected either through tubing or buckets. And then boiled to a certain consistency, to a certain sugar content, to become maple syrup. It's as simple as that. There are a lot of steps along the way, obviously, of cleaning the sap, filtering it, you can use a reverse osmosis machine, as I mentioned, that helps remove some of the water from the sap so that you have less time in the evaporator, less time boiling, less fuel to use, and so less impact on the climate in that way. But essentially, it's always been the same process, just simply taking a single ingredient, sap from the maple trees, and boiling it down to the proper consistency to be syrup.
How many gallons of sap would you need, for so many gallons of syrup?
So that's actually, climate change plays a role in this as well, is that sap is of varying sugar contents. It can be anywhere from below 1% sugar to as high as 4 or 5% sugar in really good trees. And whereas syrup is always 66% sugar, so it has to be boiled down until enough water has been removed so that the sugar content is that much higher. But climate change, as a result of climate change, the amount of starch that the trees build up in the summertime changes from year to year, depending upon, last year was a really rainy year, so there was less starch in the trees. And so that impacts how much sugar content there is, and so that impacts how many gallons of water you have to boil off before you get to maple syrup. It used to, the rule of thumb used to be 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. That's changed over the years, and there are some years where you might get to that, but more likely it's between 50 and 60 gallons of water to 1 gallon of sap to 1 gallon of syrup.